So, welcome back, students. In our last discussion, we did talk about how population did really play a very important part in affecting the growth and development of a country. We did learn that one of the important, whenever we have a population whose manpower comprises of unskilled workers, untrained, like illiterate or a low standard manpower, what happened? This really affect the rate of capital formation in the country. It did also affect the per capita income in that particular country. Besides further talking about this population, if a country do really have a huge population, one of the important impact that it had is that it give birth to one major problem, that is the problem of unemployment. That is, if we take India for example, we have seen for so many years we are still fighting with this particular problem, that is a problem of unemployment. The government do really try its best to create employment opportunities, especially to the many educated youth, but still, even though it seems as if the government did fail. Why? Is because there is too much. That means the number of people residing in a country is too much, in which the government find really a problem to give or to provide each and every individual with a good job. So really talking about this particular point, that is, whenever we talk about a country having a huge population, yes, the first problem that that particular country will have to encounter is with the unemployment problem. Further, if we really talk about this population, okay, if we really look at those countries with a huge population, the major problem that they do face as a country is, yes, the problem of unemployment. And besides the problem of unemployment is the problem relating to poverty. How is that? Is because, yes, because the government could not provide a good job, okay, to each and every individual. If I say the government could not provide a good job, that means individual have to find themselves engaged in some ordinary or temporary jobs. And if I say ordinary works or temporary works, it means the income is not that good, okay. So that itself, it leads it resulted to people to live in poverty, because I was not provided, for example, with a good job, okay. And as such, yes, I have to find out ways and means to get myself engaged in some ordinary job. And if I say, yes, if I say an ordinary job, I cannot expect to get a good income, which means my income is also very, very less. And once my income is less, it will affect so many things. It will affect my consumption level, it will affect my savings level, my uh, my living standards. And so what actually happened is, so what I can say is, because I was not engaged in a good job, and because of my low income, like nobody can expect me to have a reasonable living standard. And what I'm wanted to state here is that I'm not only the only person who faced that problem. Almost majority of our most of the our citizens who reside in a particular country do face this problem. And so we are compelled to live in this particular problem, that is a problem of poverty. So yes, population, due to lack of good job, okay, it gave birth to another problem, that means that is the problem of poverty. Further, rapid population, it also declines social infrastructures. What we learn talking about our country, India do really try to prove to the world as a welfare state, to make sure that the various facilities, the various services are being well provided to the people. That means if you talk about infrastructures, okay, if I say infrastructures, I'm talking about banking, I'm talking about health services, I'm talking about roads, transport communications, we're talking about education, so on and so forth. The government do really try its best to focus on these, okay, because why? It know that if the government, if it can divert or devote its attention towards this particular area, it can brings in growth and development in a particular country. But on the other hand, if you look at our country, India, having a huge population where majority of our population are poor, the government has to spend a lot on providing, say, basic essential facilities such as health, free healthcare, free fooding, free housing, education, whatnot. Okay, so this increased population do really it did increase, or it did add up to the burden of a particular country, or to the burden of a particular government or a particular economy. Further, having a huge population, it acts as an obstacle to self-reliance. Okay, what is this self-reliance? It is a situation in which we do not have to depend on others. Okay, be it whatever that we need in our days to days life, be it food, be it the different goods and commodities that are required. To be self-reliant is quite good. Like, for example, like if India can really become one, that means a country in which no longer have to depend on other countries. Okay, that is a good sign for our country. Okay, but yes, looking at the different objectives, for example, of the different plans, one of the objectives of our different plans, it is to make sure to make India a self-reliant country. But self-reliant country, that means we should produce tons and tons of food crops, in which we no longer need to import from outside. We need to produce tons and tons of goods and commodities so that we don't need to buy from outside, so on and so forth. But what actually happens, yes, even though our country as a whole has really produced huge amounts, say, for example, food crops, okay, but whatever that is being produced, it seems as if it's not enough, okay? It's not enough to meet the increasing demand. So what happened was this compelled our government to import it from outside. Why? It's not that we produce less, but whatever that we produce is not enough. Why? Is because the number of mouth is too much. Okay? So this having a huge population, it acts really as an obstacle towards self-reliance. And further, it says the growing population also lowers the living standards of the people. Like what I've been telling you in the earlier, talking about the earlier points, one of the impact of having a huge population is that it will result to unemployment problem. So if I am unemployed, if I'm not provided with a good job, that means I won't be able to have a good income. Okay, I might get myself engaged in some ordinary petty works. Okay, but such works gave a small or less income. So having a low or a less income, no one can expect me that I'll have a good living standards. That means once or because my income is low, definitely my living standards will also be low. So being as one of the indicators of economic development, if we talk about the living standards, having a huge population or this growing population, it did surely lowers the living standards of the people. So these are the different points in which how having a huge population or a growing population do really act some sort of an obstacle, or it retards the growth and development of a particular country or an economy.